Okay, this morning we're talking about can't sell your home. This is quite an interesting one because
Yeah.
stock has doubled in the last probably 4 or 5 years. The amount of stock available for people to buy across Scotland, across the UK, there's more and more stock on the market. Yes, there's more property selling than there was in the last 5 years, but it's because there's more stock on the market. So this is the opportunity to turn the tide and restart your move with these powerful selling tips we're going to give you today. Richard, talk to me about this.
Yeah, so I think whether the market's booming or whether it's flat, there are homes that sell fast, and then there's others that sometimes stick around for a wee bit longer. And when it's yours that's left sitting on the shelf, if you're selling, it can be a wee bit frustrating and sometimes quite uncertain at times, especially if you're not
What
getting
do you,
given the right advice.
Why do you think that is? I mean, I've got my thoughts, and my thoughts are typically you've just not got the right buyer out there at that point in time. I mean, everybody's house is beautiful and everybody's got its advantages, but you've just not got the right buyer to match that.
Yeah.
Hopefully that makes sense for people listening and watching out there. But I think it's a lot to do with that. What's your thoughts on it, Richard?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, obviously, every property in its own way has its own individual. I mean, I know there's a lot of properties that are similar, 2 and 3 bedroom, semi-detached, and things are all quite similar in certain areas. But every property has its own elements of its individuality, and I think it matches with the right person. Also, a combination of having the right person on your side, i.e., your agent, advising you correctly and giving you that right guidance and the right strategy really to get the property shifted as well. So it's a combination of things.
Yeah, I would say so. And it's actually listening to what they say and actually implement it.
Yeah,
Because I don't know about you, but for a lot of the time, I know you deal with landlords as well, and so do I. But a lot of the time in house sales, you try to tell people what they should be doing, and they just don't want to listen.
yeah, and sometimes people will agree with you, and but not like you say implement it. So you really need to
Only
be
because
quite.
it falls in lines with their beliefs.
Yeah,
And the fact that my house is going to sell really quick because everybody else and all my friends actually tell me that. And I think that as well. And it's like, okay, where did that, for want of a better phrase, unfounded belief come from?
yeah, yeah. It comes from
It's true
somewhere.
though, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's people pick it up along the way, and it just kind of sticks with them, and like you say, people's beliefs and things as well. But although there's always a reason, if your property's like you say, if yours is left on the shelf and it's kind of sticking in the market, there's always a reason, and it might not be quite clear straight away or at the moment if you're on the market and that's your issue. But if that promised queue of buyers has really failed to materialize,
Yeah.
it's really time to take a wee step back, think about things, and start asking questions. And questions like the things we're going to cover today. So things like what factors can stop your house actually selling? Could your price be making you invisible? That's a really good one, and I know you want to cover that, Jim.
Yep.
Does your marketing truly sell your home? And or possibly, and as your presentation spoiling your chances as well? And then finally, we're going to talk about, has your agent actually run out of steam, and just are they actually still acting on your best beliefs and on your side completely and invested in you as their client. That's a really important one as well, I think.
That is a really important one, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
because,
definitely.
a lot of the times when you think about the logic of it, a lot of people, I would say, some house sellers actually, after a period of time, are convinced because their house has been in the market for quite a while, it's the agent's fault. But in actual
Mhm.
fact, it's like let's break this down in the very fact that it could be the agent's fault, but are they doing what they're supposed to be doing? Absolutely. More than likely they will be. Are they on Rightmove? Yeah, absolutely. Are they on Zoopla? Yeah, absolutely. Are they on, all the other websites that they said that they were going to be on? Everybody else is on as well. Absolutely. And I don't think personally it's anything to do with the number of websites. I think it's just the fact that it's a lot to do with a combination of how you get the sun and the moon and the stars all aligning at the same
Get
time.
things aligning, yeah.
I personally think that's what you need to do as an estate agent. And when you can get that formula right and get that combination of events to happen, That's when the magic will truly happen.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
as I said before, and I'll go back to it, a lot of the times the sellers have a reluctance to follow what the agent says. It's like, oh, yeah, that's great. We can do all like that. Oh, but see that. See the realignment of your price. See the bringing the price down.
I
Oh, I'm
think
not
this
really
is
sure
fair.
about that. It's like, well, clearly at this point in time, nobody's buying your house at the level it's at the now. So what on earth gives you the impression that if you continue to have that price, it's going to happen for you anyway? Oh, I've got plenty of time. 3 months down the road, it's like, oh, I'm running out of time now. These are all the things to consider. This is why we're going to talk about this. This is why we're going
Yeah.
to talk about the things that you actually said. So, what are the factors that can stop you from selling your home?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, you will be glad to know that there is no such thing as an unsellable home. And everyone's fortune can really be turned around. And that's what we're going to cover today. And look at initially, we're going to kick off with these factors that can actually stop you selling your home. And when your home gets stuck on the market, it's always either down to price, down to profile, or presentation. These key things here. And in some cases, it could be all three. But even getting one wrong can really set you back months. Not just weeks, it can set you back months. And here's why each one matters. Now, firstly, when your price is too low, or possibly it's too high. I could see in the comments there, Andrea's saying about surveyors and overvaluing and things. So, I mean, that's the possibility. You could overprice.
Let's just cover that about surveyors overvaluing.
Yeah.
A surveyor can only value a property based on comparables that they've got and the evidence that they've got to suggest that the property is at that valuation. Yes, there is a bit of leeway because it's historic information, but you've got to remember as well, we're in a market. Now, we've done updates for the Dundee market, we've done updates for the Fife market.
Yeah.
We're looking at the Glasgow market, the Edinburgh market, and the Perth market as well, in surrounding areas. But in terms of the market just now, we're at a stable, balanced market. It's still kind of a seller's market to a degree, but we're at this balanced market just now. So clearly, obviously, at this point in time, if you're at a balanced market, that means the price is at the right price. People are still buying as a result, but there's more stock coming on. There's less buyers because the mortgage rates have gone up as a result. And also the price has gone up in the last 5 years as well. So that's about a third versus 2/3 of the problem at hand that we've got to tackle just now in terms of the buyers. The key here is to understand that the price actually might come down slightly for you and your house personally, and yet somebody else's house might be over.
Yeah.
But that's why it's called an average price rise or average. This is why it's called average, because somebody's got to be over and somebody's got to be under and somebody's got to be bang on. We can't all be over, because then the average will be completely different. So this is why when you look at statistics come out from the housing body in Scotland, the Registers of Scotland, for the UK and for Scotland itself, this is why they say house prices in Scotland have gone up 6% on average year on year. But then you drill down and you start to look at Fife, it's only 3%. If you look at Aberdeen, it's probably 1 or -1 or something round about there.
Yeah.
If you look at other places, it's Ireland, Northern Ireland's a good one to take into account. Northern Ireland's at 10% or something like that. So there's the other side, but there's the lower side, and that's why we're sitting at 6. But Fife's less. Dundee's about that level as well. So is Glasgow and so is Edinburgh. They're all round. Edinburgh's a wee bit more, I would say. But my point is, than Fife. My point is out of that is we can't all be over, or the average would be different then.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense to me.
You've got to listen to your estate agent. If they know what they're doing and they've been around for a long, long time, they clearly, obviously, have the experience and know what they're doing. You just don't want to listen because it doesn't suit your belief and what you think you want. It's what you want, I guess, is what you need. I've got a classic example recently, Richard. Here's a good one about what sort of stock factor selling your home. I'll come in, sit and say to the seller, it's like, yeah, I kind of think you're sitting at 200,000. The home report gets done, and they go, oh, 200,000, that's absolutely fantastic. The home report gets done, the surveyor goes in and goes, actually, I think it's probably about 220. Okay, we'll go with 220.
Yeah.
And the next minute, I say to the seller, we're 220. I think you should still launch it around about that level because that's where the market is just now. That's where the sentiment is. But when people see the home report, they're more than likely to push it up anyway where their offer because they'll get the funding on that, and that's easy to get through the bank because most buyers have 10% more than what they're saying just now in terms of what they can afford to buy.
Yeah.
If they can get the funding through the bank, see that? Because it's only the interest and the capital payment on that funding that they've got to afford every single month. So that's why I say about they've got 10% more buying power for that very reason. And if they've got that, then you can get it as long as the home report's at the right price. But here's what happens. It goes on, we put it on, and the next minute the seller goes, no, I'm wanting more than 220,000 now. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. I thought we were happy at 200,000.
Yeah.
Where has that changed?
Funny how
And
that
you're barely getting people inquiring about the 200,000 level, and all of a sudden in their mind now they're like, I want their 220. Right, okay. If you've got hardly anybody contacting you at this point in time for the 200, what makes you think you're going to get 220? Oh, it's on the home report. Aye, 100% and nothing is ding, 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 ding. Nothing.
Yeah, it's funny how the expectation changes so quickly in that kind of situation.
So if your price is too low or too high or just misguided, your home can miss the target audience and be invisible to the people who would actually buy it. That's why you have to take the advice from your agent.
Yeah, I'm dealing with somebody at the moment. I went out to see her, and she was toying with the idea of letting the property because it wasn't selling. And when I looked at the selling strategy that was in place and the agent that's got it, and then I advised her the proper way to do it, and she says, and it all made sense. I mean, the agent that's dealing with it, they're the 99p mentality, and it's just crazy. So yeah, we're going to be marketing and price realigning so that it gets in front of the right people.
What's the second thing that you think we've got is the factors that can stop selling your home then?
I mean, a wee bit like lackluster marketing, definitely. From your photos to even just down to like the bullet points, the main description.
I'll just take the photographs. Click, click.
Yeah.
You're joking. On your mobile phone. I mean, I'm a pretty good videographer, but I tell you what, having a professional photographer do photographs compared to what I could do with my phone, which is pretty special, is like night and day still. And I accept every single time. It's like, just give it to the professional photographer to take the photographs.
And not having these things can make your home lose out to the more skillful advertising competition. And this one that I was just referring to, when I looked at the listing, it's got a massive back garden. They don't have a photo of the back garden. I mean, these are like simple things. And we're literally not even 10-minute walk to the new train station, not even mentioned in the listing at all. It's crazy. This is like schoolboy errors when it comes to a stage and say for me. But anyway.
Yeah. And it's not just one big magic thing that'll make the difference. It's a combination of everything. As I said, Sunday Moon the Stars. If you've got, substantial plot mentioned in your summary, and you've got a picture of the garden, and then you've got, within easy walking distance of the train station leading to Edinburgh Waverley. There's the hint. It's like different price point, and you can get straight into Edinburgh Waverley within an hour from leaving. And it starts from leaving. It goes to Cummin Bridge. There's nobody else on that train, by the way, except everybody from leaving to begin with, and that's not going to be a lot. So you're going to get a seat every single day on your way to Edinburgh if you're commuting. That's the fundamentals that you can cover, and it's these things that will make a fundamental difference. I think as well. You're exactly right. One of the faux pas, the bullet points and the descriptions and the main descriptions. I think the worst thing ever. It's like, oh well, I tell you what, it's a semi-detached 4-bedroom property. Newsflash, we know that already. We've read the summary. We've actually looked it up. Why would you put that in the bullet? That's like the bullet points are like your end aisle in a supermarket. You're wanting to have something that'll attract somebody.
Grab attention.
Easy walking distance to the train station. Close proximity to the main shopping facilities, and also the possibly the beach, or possibly a harbour, or possibly a local park. All these things that you really can't get into the detail of writing in a description, but you can put it in the bullet points. So it actually complements what you've already written. What's the importance of video then in all this?
Yeah, I mean, video is really important because, I mean, pictures, descriptions, everything have their place, but video and especially quite an interactive videography, like you say, Jim, is so important to bring people in and give them that give that feeling of they're actually walking around it with you and things as well.
I think it's next level.
Yeah,
I
it
think
is.
it's next level.
Even
And I'll give
more
you an
than
exact example
50
for the
fan
people
round
tuning in
video.
right now.
Yeah.
Here's the difference between photographs and videos. Pick your favourite programme on television. How many people watch it? Maybe 1 million, 500,000, 2 million. At this point in time, they're watching it and they're listening to it. Okay? This is the difference between video and photographs. Take that television programme now, and I'll give you the photographs of the cast and the script to read, and that's all you're getting from now on. Do you think the same millions of people would still watch it or read the script and look at the photographs instead? No, they wouldn't. So you've lost all your viewers.
Yeah.
What do you think traditional estate agency is with photographs and descriptions? And what do you think video is when you take walk rounds and talk about the property to the person at the other end? That's what makes the fundamental difference.
It's so much more of an interactive experience for advertising rather than, like you say, just looking at words and pictures. Videography is so
Night and
important.
day.
Yeah.
It's like, geez, it's a totally different format in terms of what we're doing. And to even YouTube, for example, gets tens of thousands of views every single month. I don't think there's any other agent actually is using YouTube to put videos on. I think they maybe put them on, but they don't actually exploit it as we do. 23,000 views in a month, over 1,100 hours of our content consumed on YouTube every single month. What does that tell you?
And these shows demonstrate as well. I mean, we speak to people in the States and overseas. We've got somebody watching this morning, Leon, or Big Leon from Belfast. Do you know, that's the reach of our YouTube channel, and that's where all our property tours and things are put out. So.
And there's no reason, and the algorithms know that because they know there's people actually looking to relocate to the locations that we actually cover, which is Dundee, Glasgow, Edinburgh, and Fife, and the surrounding areas, possibly, to another place near you. I mean, Zoe had mentioned Inverness, and I went, well, it'll be on our card sooner or later. You got to start somewhere, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so lackluster marketing, definitely from the photographs to the bullet points to the main description, especially as well. I still find it, and I know Jonathan. Jonathan actually mentions it all the time. He's a property trainer. He says it's amazing how many estate agents still adopt it. You've only got 250 words that you can put in your summary at the beginning, or maybe 250 characters possibly in Rightmove or any other website. That's how they do it at the very beginning, so you see it.
Yeah.
So why would you spend all your time putting, so-and-so estate agency is proud to present this 3-bedroom? Oh my God, the first bit of the line, the premium spot of the line, and you've introduced your estate agency over and above your client's property.
Yeah.
That's a no-no.
Yeah.
A big no-no. You get straight into the body of it. How is this going to appeal to a person? What is it? Is it spacious? Is it well presented? Is it beautiful? Is it stunning? Is it fantastic? Is it amazing? And then is it finished to a high standard? And what is it? And where is it? And why will it appeal to that person?
Yeah.
That is what an opening summary should be. Bang! Right in there.
Yeah.
Makes an impact straight away in the buyer's mind or the prospective buyer's mind. That's what gets them to click through. That's all you want at that point in time. You don't want them to buy it just with seeing the external photograph and the description. You want them to click through to the next stage. Then you start to get analytics out of that. And then you start to gather data. And then the magic happens.
Yeah.
You could use that data to retarget them again.
Retarget, yeah.
What do you think Coca-Cola does? What do you think Sony does? What do you think the pension companies do? What do you think all these insurance companies do when you're on social media? Retargeting technology. They know you're in the market for their product, and that's why they get in front of you, because they've got your data on what you think and what you do. It's
what
exactly what
you
we do.
watch and react with, yeah.
Retargeting technology.
Yeah.
How important is presentation then when it comes down to it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've done several shows on curb appeal and things, and presentation, like scruffy curb appeal, too much furniture, overcrowded rooms, rooms that have not really got a role or a purpose. You find that in properties like, what is this room? Is this a hall? Is it Is it a lounge? Do you know? That could really ruin your viewing experience and things as well, and completely turn off buyers sometimes before they even book. But if they're looking at these listings and it's just not the right setup and doesn't look finished and tidy enough and quite scruffy, it could really put people off. So you need to think about presentation.
So if you're a seller out there, let me just summarize what I'm about to say here. When these factors that we've just discussed align perfectly, a sale is rarely far away. These factors, you can't pick and choose. That's why it's important to listen to your estate agent, an experienced estate agent with lots of wisdom. In other words, they've done it all before, they've heard it all before, they know exactly what to do. It is very straightforward to them. The difficulty is convincing sometimes the seller, this is what you need to do to get it done.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what makes it essential to compete on every even level. And it's really about showing the buyers that your home is one to explore rather than one to ignore.
People want to be excited and think, I want to see that, I want to see more, rather than think, no, next, and move on. Definitely. Next one.
Could the price be making you invisible then?
Yeah, and this is something that obviously we talk about a lot in price realignment and things as well. And getting the asking price for your property right in the first instance. It's all about catching the wealthiest likely buyers in a wave of, that initial excitement? Do you know that is one of the most important things? And our biggest chance of success as agents in selling a property is when your home is still, fresh initially on the market, and your price point is one of the most important things in that whole strategy.
My first question out of that then is, what do we mean by fresh? And there's a lot of people out there. The initial point is the fresh is the likely to sell the highest price during the first 4 to 6 weeks with an agent, after which they'll have to exhaust their list of registered buyers. So we're going to talk about beware of the following traps. But when you talk about fresh, you could still make a property listing fresh after 6 months, because remember, it's how it appears and how you respond to a buyer when they inquire is the key here. Not the fact that, that's been on this for 6 months. It's like, we need to get rid of that because we need the fee, because it's sitting on our books and it affects our statistics. It's, there's a rhetoric there, and that's a mindset. But if you've got the right agent, they won't think like that, because this is the buyer. It's like, how long you've been looking for a property? Oh, well, I've only been. That's the one question they should be asking them, the agent. How long have you been looking for a property then? Because you've inquired about this one. Oh, I'm just new. I've just got my mortgage sorted out. All right, great. So that's new to them. Even though it's been sitting for 6 months. And that then comes down to the mindset of the actual estate agent talking to them. To understand that. And no think. And be more enthusiastic. And be more enthusiastic about it. And that's what will make a fundamental difference. What are the things that we've got to beware for, though? The traps that we see.
So buyers don't usually search more than, say, 10% over their budget. Like what you said, So if your price is higher than that, above the right level, you'll only reach the people who want or could possibly get more for their money. So that's one thing. And then, say an asking price of, say, 399,950 or 399,995 for a £400,000 home will only reach buyers looking up to 400,000.
And you'll look most expensive.
Yeah, and you'll miss those with more money searching between 400,000 and, say, 425,000.
And you look the least expensive at 400,000.
So you're not going to go in front of the right audience.
I've seen this quite a lot. I mean, even prices like 417,500 and or 405,000 run a high risk of getting lost in the search results, rather than actually nearer the top of the bottom of the price bands, like the 400 or the 425. It jumps up. So, because it's when at the lower end, you're like, you go from 100 to 110, 120, 130, 140, 150. But when you get up to 300,000, it jumps to 325 to 350 to 375 to 400. When you get to 400, I'm not really sure if it goes to 425, 450. It might actually just jump straight to 450.
450, yeah.
But when you get to the 500,000, it's like, yeah, 550's next, 600's next.
Yeah.
And that's how they do it, because it's like, it's only 10% of the budget. You see what I mean about the 10%?
Yeah.
So this is how the search engines work. And in short, the art of accurate and effective pricing needs to use the portals to your advantage. The 1980s is gone, by the way, in a estate agency. The tricks like 950 and 995 pricing
Like
simply don't reflect how buyers search today, and they could cost you your move.
they could, yeah.
I'll say that again. The 1980s is past in a estate agency. Leave it where it is. The tricks like 950 offers over 350,000, 950 offers over 249,995. These tricks are long lost. They don't reflect how buyers actually search today. And more importantly, they could cost you your move simply because your agent doesn't understand how to price for the internet and the search engines, or you're not listening to them.
Mm-hmm.
And you're driving it forward as a seller. You're telling them what to do. I kind of think that's really daft. I mean, we get once in a blue moon, we'll get people saying, I think you should do that. I think you should do this. And it's like, hold it. Who do you think's the estate agent here?
Yeah. Like if you're paying for an agent and then you end up advising them or instructing them what to do, you've got a problem.
You've got the wrong agent. You've
Yeah.
told them straight away unconsciously that you actually don't trust their judgment, or you don't trust what they're doing, and the very fact that you're telling them what to do.
Yeah, definitely.
So halfway through, we then ask, when we've got that sorted out and we understand that, because I think we all understand that anyway. So, so if you understand that, stick a 5 in the comments or something like that. Tell us you understand it by sticking a 5. We know you understand that if you're listening about the pricing strategy, and it could be making you invisible, or it could be making you visible. We've got it right.
Yeah, you've got it right.
The next question out of that is, does your marketing then truly sell your home? Now, the purpose, before we start here, the purpose of marketing is actually to get you in front of the right people and get the right people to respond to you. It's not to sell your home. That is a different process, which is taken up by the negotiators when they contact them in the estate agency. So the key here is there's two differentials here. These are marketing, and then there's a sale at the end. One's online, and one is basically face to face on the phone, or voice to voice, or sometimes it's WhatsApp to WhatsApp, it's email to email. So does your marketing truly sell your home? What have we got to say about that then?
So around about 90% of home hunters start their search on the web and the portals. So your online profile is a crucial part of your selling toolkit, basically. And if you attract your perfect buyer, or will you turn them off, basically? Do you know, are you going to be appealing to them, or are you going to turn them off? So whatever portals your agent is on, or there are 3 critical areas to think about to get right in the first instance, and if you want to find the buyer and get the best price. So as you said, Jim, that first 25 words or so of your description is so crucial. Don't use it saying, oh, we are delighted, do you know, whatever agent is delighted to present, blah, blah, blah. I mean, go right in there, like you say, Jim, hard hitting about the facts of the property. Do they focus on the top selling points, or are they wasted on, do you know, bluster, like, oh, as an owner, sole appointed agent, or do you know, something like that? Don't do that. The first 25 words or so of your description are so important to catch the right attention.
Okay.
I
would agree with that. Let's sit and go on discuss that a bit as the owner's sole appointed agent, and that in most instances that's the case. In England, it's a wee bit different. You get multiple agents and all the rest of it, and they share the commission. I don't understand how they actually survive doing that, because it's a huge cost to go on Rightmove, for example, and all the other portals. But you need to be, you really need to have some sort of summary which actually blows somebody's mind in the beginning. It actually excites them to want to click through. This is what I talked about in the beginning. It's about the click through. It's about the object of the exercise of your initial photographs are a really good one as well. When you're getting a photograph of a house, do not take a straight shot. Take it just angular so you see the depth of the property. Because a straight shot. I've been in some houses. It's tiny from the front when you look at it like that. Look at things like London. You get these wee tiny houses. You've got a door and you've got a window, and then you've got a window upstairs, and that's it. And it's tiny in terms of its width, but it goes all the way down the garden. St Andrews is renowned for that. You've got a lot of premises in St Andrews. It's like you go in from the front and then it goes all the way to the back. It's huge. And then when you incorporate that in all the different levels, it's a big house. It's like a TARDIS.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to concentrate on these things, like it's spacious, it's amazing, it's stunning, and then explain why it's like that. And that's why I think you can only get a limited amount of characters on at the beginning. But that's why I think how video is so important, because video complements that, if not overtakes it. And the fact that you then have a presenter actually talking about the property, explaining it to you. Oh, for God's sake, let's just clear this out of the way. Do not ever do a silent movie for your property. There is no point. You may as well just take the photographs and show them to music, because that's equivalent to what you're seeing. And that doesn't really make any difference. People feel good about it. I could tell you that, because it's a real sales gimmick. People do feel good about the silent movie, which is no talking at all and just music to a video that goes around the property. And they go, yeah, that's fantastic. But it does no difference than what the photographs would do anyway. Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. You're just seeing photographs and music on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think personally, talk-ups, video walkthroughs, presenter talking it up and telling you what it is, where it is, and why it'll appeal to you, and how spacious things is. You can't get that down on a schedule. You can't get that down in writing, because you'll lose the will to live. And that's why mainly most people watch a film rather than actually reading the book.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to sit and read a book for all these hours and invest all that hours in doing that. Some people just can't, because of the way they are, the way they're wired.
Mm-hmm.
They're not responsive to reading things. But a lot of people, a huge amount of people, are very responsive to listening.
Yeah,
and to
listening
watch
and
it.
visual and interactive. Yes, that's the
Yeah,
best way.
I mean, it's the classic example about, please do all the heavy lifting for me. That's what we're doing. Do all the heavy lifting. That's all I want you to do. And then by doing all the heavy lifting, that's what the video does. It does all the work for you. Why do you think, here's a classic example, why do you think Michael Jackson did Thriller, the video?
Do you know that's creeped up again, obviously, with Halloween, and see when you watch it and the choreography and everything that went into that video, it's amazing.
Does all the work for him around the world.
Yeah. I mean, it's still
It
going.
advertises him, it markets him, it shows it showcases him, and he's not even there. He spent all that time and investment in doing it once, and it does all the work for him.
Yeah.
Still today, and he's dead.
Yeah, I know.
And it's still going.
It'll be around for a long time as well.
Yeah, and that's the key here. That's why. And if he had to be there, when you think about it, that's it. It's gone. You wouldn't have any Thriller video. You wouldn't have Billie Jean. You wouldn't have all these videos that you have. That's the classic example. Video killed the radio star, definitely. It's the Buggles all over again. But everybody remembers that song, don't they? And they remember the video as well. Trevor Horn, the greatest music producer. But that's when I go back to where am I going here with this? It's that initial summary, and it's what complements it as well. It will get somebody through the door. So if you've got it's the biggest warning sign ever. If you've got an agent that spends all their time in their descriptions when you're reading it at the very beginning by saying, so and so agency is proud to present, or we are delighted to showcase this property, it's like, oh my God, you should run for the hills and stop using that agent. They might be the agent that sells all the property in the area, but I'll tell you, they're probably not the agent that actually gets the best price at the end for you, because their focus is on volume. It's not on quality. It's on quantity, and quantity costs you money as a seller. Quantity costs you, because you're in with everybody else, and it's sell them cheap, pile them high, sell them cheap. Quality is let's get the right people through the door with the right budget, and then work on pushing them in and pushing them up to that value, convincing them. That's what quality is. And you live and die by that, and you'll pay for a service. I can help most people, but I'll be honest, I can't help cheap.
Yeah.
Because they've got that mindset. They'll no listen. How important is the photographs then?
Yeah, and as we've already touched on so far this morning, it should really be, your photos should really be that professional quality, not just done on somebody's phone or whatever, you know, or some small digital camera. I mean, those days are kind of gone, especially when you're trying to sell a property. Professional photography, visibility in season, you know, highlight rooms and fixtures with a mix of, like, it's just like from outside, Jim, wide angles and you know, not just straight on 2D kind of looking images, close-up shots, things that are rotated regularly to keep your listing kind of fresh and things as well. Yeah. Professional photography, and a photographer know how to do all these things. Don't try and play photographer with your phone. It won't work.
As well as well, you could be a seller right now, actually, so focused on why am I not getting the huge amount of people through my door, and you know, I've seen it where people actually start to focus on this minute details. Oh, that, you know, that bit at that bit doesn't look great in the corner of my garden. Well, it reflects what it is, and that's what people are going to see when they come round. So, you know, you could either tidy it up and take the photograph again, or you leave as it is. Oh, well, could we put the photograph out? Well, they're still going to see it when they come round. So if it puts them off at the beginning, it'll put them off when they walk round. They'll probably be more annoyed at the fact that they spent their time walking around to see that, because it's like, if you'd showed me that in the actual listing in the first place, I probably wouldn't have come along.
Yeah.
But people are just desperate to get folk through their door. It's like, there's no point in putting somebody through the door that's not going to buy your house.
Yeah, you need to obviously showcase your property and its true form. And if the true form is a bit gritty, then sort that and stop it looking like that. Don't try and hide it. Definitely not.
But there's a lot of I've heard it before, and I've heard it in the past where it's like, oh, it's the photographs. No, it's not the photographs. It's definitely not the photographs, because everybody else is selling their house, and it's exactly the same type of photographs that you've got, that they've got. There's something else.
Yeah.
It's possibly your location is too remote. It's possibly your location of your house is too concentrated. It's in a huge housing estate and somebody doesn't want that. It's possible it's not in the right catchment area for the school. It's possible it's maybe at the wrong price point to begin with, or after. Now that you've got the evidence, it's maybe needs to be realigned in the price point. And this is so important about listening to your agent. I often, you know, in the past, the things that I used to get, Richard, quite a lot was when I was speaking to other people, it's like, so why did you come to us? Or why are you coming to us? Because you're on with them just now. Because every time they phone me up, they just tell me to reduce the price. Okay, so what else have they actually suggested to you they could be doing? Well, nothing really. They just listed it and suggested it. Now, that's not a proactive agent, by the way. But there is other things that an agent could actually suggest. It's like, what social media campaign are you doing? We're going to touch on that in a wee while. How are you doing it? How you present the photographs? Can you change the order of the photographs? Can you take a new external? You know, the front photograph that everybody sees in the very beginning. Can you just revise the summary? Just a keywords. It's a different. You know what it's like when you cook a steak. The difference between having it blue, rare, medium rare, or well done. And literally, it's only a matter of 2 minutes in between each of them. And that's effectively what it's like for a property listing. It possibly just needs these wee tweaks. It's only, you know, these 30 seconds, 1 minute tweaks. It could make a fundamental difference in someone else's mind by moving the photographs around, by maybe just changing the summary at the beginning, so to get the right people rather than actually announcing you're a estate agent and who you are and selling yourself before you sell the property. You know, that's all it's doing really. And then everything else that comes after it, you know, all in the description. You see it as well at the end. Oh, we can get our mortgage services, we can do this, and if you're wanting a free valuation, and it's like all at the end of this listing, and I'm like, oh my God, You are paying for the agent to advertise themselves on the back of your property. That's not what you're meant to be doing. You're meant to be selling the property, know yourself.
Yeah, you see a lot of pitches at the end of listings and things as well. But you're absolutely right, Jim. It's like even just those few words in the description being changed, or a different angle, or a different, the different arrangement of the photos and things might just catch the attention of that person, and it could be your buyer, or the right buyer.
Yeah.
But the next thing is really your agent should really be active on social media.
Social what?
Social media. I mean, if they're not
What's that
in
then?
this day and age, if they're not in this day and age, then there's something to be questioned there, definitely, especially in the industry that we're in.
A lot of people don't want to change. You know, we've got quite a big solicitor estate agent in the Fife area, for example, and in Dundee and Tayside and stuff like that as well. They're there as well, but they've moved away again from what we call the silent movies. They're just
Yeah,
back to photographs and descriptions again.
we don't even have it at all. Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, they've gone back to photographs and descriptions because it's like, oh well, they don't understand the value add. Even that would do. I mean, even a silent movie is probably better than actually photographs and descriptions, to be honest, because at least it keeps the viewer engaged because they're listening to music while they're actually looking around the property, and they're not reading to read the schedule because then it does a lot of the heavy lifting for them. So it's better than photographs at least.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's literally just a step back in time, literally to the 1980s that person, that solicitor estate agent's taken. As most people have actually done now, lockdown's over. They've just gone back to the, dare I say, lazy way of estate agency.
Yeah.
Bone idle, I would call it.
Yeah, that's a good.
Can't be bothered.
Mm-hmm.
Cut costs. Make more money out of the client. That's what that's all about. Whereas I'm like, no, let's keep it. Let's increase the investment. Let's get more money at the end for the client so they have more money in their pocket.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. If you do that job really, really well, the payment of the services, the commission, is a byproduct of what you do well. I definitely think so. So you're absolutely right, Richard. Active on social media, promoting whether promoting individual or collections of homes, or providing a regular, valuable presence to reach and attract the right buyers.
Yeah, providing people with information and the local market knowledge, and just basically what we're doing just now, to be honest.
But when we say attract, I'll do tongue in cheek here. Attract the right buyers. It's like, but I put a board up outside the front of my garden. Why is nobody coming to view it? It's like,
Yeah. Well, I think
there's agents like that. Just put a board up. They can't afford to be on Rightmove. They can't afford to be on Zoopla. They can't afford to be on other websites. So they have their own website and they just go for broke and think, it's like, because people like them, know them, trust them, and that's fine. But is that going to get you the right result at the end? It'll get your house sold, but that's not what I'm talking about when I talk about the right result. It's what price are you going to get for it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the result you're after. What price and what circumstances? What's the entry date? Does it suit what you want? Do they want any extras? That's where we're getting into negotiation now.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you say about, I put a board in the garden and things, but even the most prominent estate agent window displays and things, and boards in the most prominent places and that really can't compete with the impact of your online presence and your profile. And to be honest, not to be totally biased, but I think that our local offices have some of the most prominent window displays, but still doesn't match what we do if we're online and social media.
Online's huge in comparison. You get hundreds of thousands. Literally, I was looking at analytics yesterday for the whole of the year so far, and we've got over 1 million views on our website. 1 million.
Yeah.
You know, you've got. I mean, that's a sixth of Scotland, the Scottish population.
Yeah.
When you think about it, and you look at the buyers, the home people, the people who own homes. That's a huge, significant proportion of people that actually own homes. And that is just for what we're doing right now. Wait till Edinburgh, Glasgow, Perth, Dundee start hitting that as well. It's going to be huge because we understand the strategy that we need to use to get in front of the eyeballs and get the eyeballs in front of us and,
Yeah.
attract the right people to your property. It's about attracting the right person to your property rather than just putting on Rightmove and going, see how we get on.
Yeah.
It's
And, and
but people will do that.
it's true, but I think if you're selling and you're with an agent and you feel any of that is falling short at the moment, then it's time to take urgent action, or you're going to lose out a lot more. And try and avoid that. If you've got any doubts or things are falling short, like what we've just spoke about, you need to make changes.
Yeah, definitely. So then leads me to the fourth thing that we talked about. So is your presentation spoiling your chances? I think if your house isn't selling, I think possibly that could be one of them, or it could be the fact that you're not listening to your estate agent, or it could be the fact that the buyer's not in the market at that point in time. That's it. Or your house is right next to the main road, and the busiest main road you've got, and people are just like, "Oh my God, I don't think I could be able to bear with that." It just puts them off. Now, you obviously buy it. Here's a classic example. You obviously bought it for a certain reason, regardless of that. So if you bought it, then that's the type of person we need to attract.
That's an interesting as well. What your agent should always do when they're listing or thinking about the marketing strategy is always ask the person that's selling the home why they bought it.
First thing I do when I go in the door.
What attracted them to buy the property?
After I say the obvious, it's like, why am I here? Apart from the fact that to sell the house. It's like, because it's usually, you remember, why am I here is the answer. The answer to that is, I'm here to solve a problem that that person's got. Whether it's having to upsize, downsize, sell off because deceased estate, or they're splitting up, or they're getting together and they're selling two houses to get one. There's always something to solve. It's helping someone in their life and managing as it happens is what our tagline is, and that's why I've always had that, because I wouldn't change that, because that's what we do. We help people through that journey from start to finish. It's not a case that we're selling a house. We're helping someone on their journey for the next stages in their life. And I think that's what we need to do. So the presentation, is it spoiling your chances? When your buyers come to see your home?
Yeah, when buyers come to see your home.
Decisions, and the settings, and sometimes I do talk about this, don't I? As soon as somebody gets out of their car, we once in a blue moon, you'll get somebody drive around the property and just say, look, cancel the view, and I looked at it from the outside. Curb appeal clearly wasn't listened to at that point in time. People will make a decision almost every single time, but within the first 6 seconds. Do you know how long you've got on social media when somebody's scrolling for somebody to make a decision to stop on your property?
About 5 seconds.
3/10.
3/10 a second. All right, okay.
It used to be 3 pre-internet, more or less. Now it's 3/10. Gone.
That's really quick. Yeah.
That's why as soon as you see somebody with a video and they go, "Oh, whoa, wait a minute, video." I'm going to watch this, and I'm usually going at the start of the video, and the reason for that is because that'll catch your attention, or going, because that stops you in your tracks and catches your attention. That's the most important point. Or do you see a graph, a chart, a pie chart or something? Oh, whoa, wait a minute, analytics. I need to see this, rather than actually just seeing somebody going. Or just seeing a picture of a corner of a room because they've not understood about the picture they need to pick to put on the front for the actual video to be seen for people to click on it. Again, that's another important thing on social media strategy. Actually picking the right picture at the very beginning to get somebody to stop in their tracks in the 3/10 of a second that they're scrolling through and actually go, "Oh, that looks interesting." You could see that. You go on YouTube and you see Diary of a CEO and they're going, what a big text next to them. And that's what gets you to go, what does that say? Oh, okay, right, okay. And then when you get through it, it's only like one soundbite out of the whole video itself, but you still watch it all the way through and you hear it. So these are all things you pick up over time to get that. So what have we got to say about this, about the presentation? Could it be spoiling your chances?
Yeah, so alongside your home and how it looks, think about how it feels as well. Do you know that? Do you know people that, like you were saying, like their subconscious mind is so powerful and they'll make decisions very quickly. Viewers respond well to, do you know, that cozy, cheerful and calming experience when they come into a home. So look around and see whether it's something that you could do in your property to change that. There's nothing worse than walking into a property and it's like chaos. You know, it's just very off-putting. Give every room in the property a purpose that fills its need. Do you know, whether it's the kitchen, whether it's the dining area, whether it's a lounge area, whether it's even been used as a child's area or whatever.
Yeah.
And it fills the needs for your possible likely buyer as well. Remove or rearrange furniture that hides any features that really complement the property, possibly obstructing maybe sight lines, do you know, out to a nice view, or do you know, through the flow of the property, or things that would really appeal to people, or things that make it difficult to walk around and actually navigate in the property. Do you know, if something's completely cluttered and just looks like, oh, just haphazard, it's very off-putting.
Do you know what? It's quite interesting. You said a key word there, which I picked up on. Feel.
Yeah.
Emotion.
Yeah. How you
Emotion
feel,
drives a result.
Yes.
Logic doesn't, really. Logic's only a backup to the emotional response you've got in the beginning, just to justify, just to confirm that your emotional response is actually correct.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you go to logic after it.
Yeah, and you're right. Emotions and feeling are such a big influence on people's decision-making process. Do you know, when people are walking around the property as well, think about, like, do you know, your bathroom. Have maybe like new plush, do you know, towels, or maybe a fluffy robe. Don't have dirty towels or wet towels hanging around, or smelly towels. Do you know, think about bedding in bedrooms and things. Even just buy new bedding to have your bed look nice and all freshly made, even in the spare rooms, not just your main room. Do you know, everybody's got that spare room and everything's just chucked in, I suppose. But make sure it's clean and tidy and looks nice. Bare couches and chairs and things, dress them up, have some nice cushions or a throw, or, do you know, just something to make it look more inviting and cozy and comfortable, rather than just bare and bland and quite, do you know, meh. Basically, is probably the best thing to describe it.
This is why it's quite important when we're in an opening summary, sometimes if it is, say, finish to a high standard.
Yeah.
Now, finish to a high standard, it's just a sentence, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what does it make? What does it tell you? It tells you you probably can just move in straight away, and you don't need to do anything.
Things are going to be finished off. Yeah.
You don't need to do anything to the property because it's already finished to a high standard. And then comes the emotion at the back of this, the sigh of relief. Oh my goodness, we don't need to refurb this one. Jeez, it's going to be an easy gig moving in. And we could just hire somebody to move our furniture, and it will be so easy and less stressful to move. That's why you put that in the opening summary if it's relevant. On a substantial plot, again, it doesn't do anything, just substantial plot if you look at the words. But if you understand the meaning of the substantial plot, it means you've got a big garden, more than likely.
Immediately, to me.
So what does it tell you?
Yeah.
Space. What does space then tell you? You could extend. It'll be great for the kids. If you've got pets and you have a kennel outside, you could have an external kennel or anything like that. And then what comes next? The emotion. Oh my goodness, that'll make life so easy for me.
Start to see yourself living there. Yeah.
That will make life so easy for me.
Yeah.
Helping you manage life as it happens. Emotion. Emotion drives price.
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah, the thing that you're saying about, obviously, corner plot and then thinking about space, and, you know, somebody might be coming for somewhere where they've not got a lot of space, they've got the kids, they've got the dogs, they immediately start imagining themselves there, and it resolves that pain thing that they're thinking they've been coming from, not having enough space.
So again, all these different things, the fluffy robes and the moving the obstacles and all the rest of it. The one for me is, like, definitely, if you can declutter, it's probably a really good thing to do. Clear shelves if you can, worktops and surfaces of clutter, clean or at least refresh tired paintwork, polish your windows until the sparkle. I'll be honest, until the sparkle, there's nothing more off-putting, especially if you've got an outstanding view outside a window, and then somebody walks in and looks and they can barely see it.
Window, yeah.
Velux windows are bad for that.
if you're by the seaside and things, that your windows for the spray and things do get dirty quite often. So make sure that
Velux windows are renowned for that, because
yeah,
Velux windows sit on the roof and the roof gets the highest heat. Therefore, they sometimes burst. And you can get a kit for about 120 to 150 quid. You can just take the window out, take the screws out, put the new window back in the kit, put the seal in, put the screws back in, and pop the window back in. Someone else, a contractor could do that for you quite
yeah.
easily.
General
And change
handyman
that
could do that.
just to make sure you've got that person's got that amazing view, especially that's a selling point.
Yeah.
Because that's what they want to see. Again, what does an amazing view do? What is an amazing view? Okay, it's an amazing view. But what does it make you feel when you see the amazing view?
Yeah, when you
Again,
walk
we're
in a
all
room
talking
and
about the
there's a big
feelings.
picture, yeah, when you walk in a room and there's a big picture window looking over countryside or seaside or things, it's a big emotional thing.
You nailed it. Countryside views. Views across the Firth of Forth.
Yeah,
Again, another great thing to put in the summary. It's like mainly south facing. What does it tell you? It's going to be
sun.
sitting in the sun.
Yeah,
We've got to have natural light coming in, which is great. It'll make me feel great. That's the type of thing. Feel. You notice I used the word feel again. It's all about feel, feel, feel. So this is what it's all about until the sparkle. At this time of year, especially, or depending what time of year it is, autumn's just now. So autumn, you would probably be clearing leaves if you can, and cutting back the dead plants from your garden or your balcony if you've got plant pots.
yeah,
Don't leave your plant pots out if they're just falling
dead.
apart. Oh, geez.
Or just
Or
earth, just empty
they've
earth.
got tons of weeds, and you'll say, I'm going to get round to them. And, when it comes back to spring, it's like, no, you're selling your house now. So do something with them. Either put them away or just tidy them up a bit. Make sure they're okay. I mean, perfect presentation doesn't have to be hard work. You can actually find tips on here in this blog if you click on it. And we've got a blog which is actually keep your home fit for sale and
Yeah,
how to have your home fit for sale. And you can easily read that. It takes 3 to 4 minutes to read it. And you can click on the link and you'll see it in the text under the is your presentation spoiling any chances. This is where we come back to the last one.
Yeah, this is an important one.
Where you get sometimes agents that say, I can't do anything else for you. Have they really run out of steam, or are they just lazy?
Yeah, and it happens all so often, and you hear people coming to you and their agent, and ultimately they've just run out of steam or run out of enthusiasm completely, and you'll never know how it's going to actually go with your estate agent until you actually try them. But you could get a good inclination of their initial, obviously, response and their energy when you're, liaising with them and going through that initial stages. And sometimes things don't work out, and that it does happen. But if you're wondering whether they're still the right choice, if you're going through this with your agent, you need to maybe try asking them some kind of maybe hard-hitting questions, to be fair, and they should be able to answer them. And if they can't, you've got an issue.
I've had these before. This is a combination of the questions that I've been asked over all the years that I've been doing estate agency, and it's fine. I understand a question is just an affirmation about, are we on the right track? Are we doing the right thing? That's okay with me. Questions are good. It's when people go silent that's the problem. It's like, because you don't know, this is why it's important to communicate with your seller all the time. This is why we have a really good team of negotiators to actually do all that for us. I mean, one man isn't an island, and I can't, do that myself all the time. Or I'd basically be saying to everybody, look, I've got to charge you 10 grand to sell your house because it doesn't make sense. I can't do it all myself if you want me exclusively. So hence the reason why we've got a lot of good agents, but we've also got a lot of good sales negotiators as well. I mean, there we go here. Let's just talk about this. 99% approval rating at the Estes.
Yeah.
A double whammy again for Scotland, for sales and lettings, and actually number 1 in Fife again for sales and lettings. What does that tell you?
And the thing about that is it's sellers, buyers, and landlords that all vote that. And
I think that's quite important. We're getting the feedback from the buyers as well, and also the landlords as well, and the sellers. So that makes an overall picture. And Monday, Tuesday, I'm going down to the EA Masters to get another award. That's like for the top 4% in Britain. That's pretty special. Now I could go, yay! It's only my mum and me that care about awards, really. That's it. But what it does for us is it reinforces that we're doing things right if we get that.
It's the feedback. Yeah.
That's the whole point. It's not the award and the accolade. It's going, yeah, look at me. It's more importantly to tell people and show people and demonstrate to people that we must be doing the right things, because these are people independently testing our systems and our processes and actually giving us award based on that. They're not just phoning us up and saying, you want to buy an award.
Yeah.
Like, so what have you done for that award? Well, we just thought we'd give you an award that you could stick on your brochure. But what have you tested? We've not really tested anything. We just thought it'd be nice to give you an award. Do you want to pay £2,000 a year to license? Yeah, and that's what a lot of agents are actually doing right now for that, and that's up to them. They'll be found out eventually that, you run out of steam at some point in time, and everybody thinks, well, nah, they're just talking rubbish. You can be the biggest estate agent in the world, and if nobody likes you or nobody likes what you do, they'll not use you. You can be the smallest estate agent in the world, and if everybody loves what you do and you do it right, yeah, everybody will use you.
Yeah,
that's all you need. So what are the plans?
Yeah, so I think if you're in this position where you feel like maybe your property's not selling, your agent's run out of steam, ask the question, ask your agent, what's the plan moving forward? If whatever they've tried already isn't working, you maybe need to obviously look at changing tack, which means new ideas and a completely fresh strategy to implement into your.
You know why I love that question? What's the plan going forward? Because the seller's going to listen to me for a change.
Yeah.
It's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, now I've got your attention. I've been trying for ages to tell you this all the time, and you just weren't listening because you're maybe a sanguine, you're like, oh, I just love everything. And it's like, I'm not really listening to you, but it's just great, the journey. It's like, no. Now you're listening and I've got your attention. I'll tell you what I told you 3 or 4 months ago. This is what we need to do. Oh, I never heard you 3 or 4. Yeah, because you just clearly weren't listening. You refused to say, you refused to take your advice, or you just wanted to leave, one thing out. And it's like baking a cake. You're never going to come out with the same result if you leave the eggs out. What's the next question then?
Yeah. So I think this question, and to be fair, I would have asked this at the beginning, but I mean, it's always good to ask it if you've not. But do you have a history of selling homes like mine? If I was the buyer, I would be saying to the agent, do you have a history of selling homes like this? On the portals is one thing, but understanding the home that you're selling is another. And if they've got a track history of selling similar properties in similar area, then that's a good thing. But you should ask that.
I had this question. I had this question from one of the agents. This is quite a good one, actually. Do you have this is actually reminding me of this. Do you have a history of selling homes like yours? And the person said, do you have a history of selling homes like mine in my street in the last year? It's like, really? It's like, I did have the year before, a couple of homes actually, the year before, and the prices have changed since then. This was just relayed from one of their agents, and it says, what do you do with that? It says, well, there's only been about 5 homes sold in the last 3 years in that street. So how would you?
The likelihood of having one in the street.
Someone must have planted that. Another agent must have planted that in that person's mind, because they've probably been the only person in the last year, and the only home that's been sold in the last year in that street. And they've planted that in that mind, saying that's what you should be asking the next agents.
Yeah.
Because how could you answer? Well, I don't, because there's only one sold. And it's like, there's no other houses sold. Yeah. How is that? And then, because I definitely think that's been planted. But you see what I mean? So, you could ask, do you have a history of selling homes like yours? And portals are one thing, but understanding the home is another. And they may simply not have the profile, possibly the buyers, or even the experience that you actually need. So it's okay if your agent possibly has sold houses in a different area in the same city or same town or same whatever it is, or even a different region, but they understand the principles because they're a premium seller, they're a premium brand. There's no doubt about that. We'll have premium brands that just sell, they sell high end of the market, and that's all they sell, and they sell right around the country. And I don't see any reason why that's not acceptable, because it is. But the key here is you've got to make sure, ask the question anyway. What's the next question we need to ask before we finish off then?
Yeah, this is a really good one. And it's, has your agent actually given you all the feedback from the viewers? Do you know, have they toned things down? Have they left things out? Or do you know, have they avoided offering you the actual nitty-gritty feedback And sometimes agents will do that because they don't want to tell you. But these are the things that you need to know, because it's what your viewers are picking up on, and it's what's holding you
You've
back.
offended me.
Yeah. Do you know, if they go in and it's like your viewer says it's stinking a dog, you need to clean it. Do you know?
Right.
Yeah, you need to tell them. You need to be transparent and honest, or it's holding back your sale. Yeah.
Honestly, that, you know, I've never had that where, as an instance, I've always pitched it to the right market and been truthful.
Yeah.
Classic recently, you know, I've got a commercial property, it's got permission. They've got halfway through the conversion to a 2-bedroom apartment, and I've been honest and I've said, look, this commercial property just now has got planning permission for a 2-bedroom. You could actually repurpose this to what you want, because it's got a first fix on plumbing, first fix on electricity, and so there's an opportunity to actually, it's all the bare bones are in there, but you could actually, you could mold this and shape this to you, and it's a great price point for it. That's truthful. That's fact. Whereas, you know, you could just take photographs and put a summary on and just leave it and have loads and loads of people going through the door, but loads and loads of rejection. And then you have a seller which is frustrated saying, how am I getting everybody through the door, but nobody's making an offer? It's because they've not actually done all the work to filter the right people out and also filter the right people in, which is more important.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, coming back to quality rather than actual quantity.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But transparency, and I think, and quite honest conversations between agent and seller and things is so important. And you need the whole story, and it allows you to then take action and things if things are not going properly. And if you're getting that negative feedback from viewers, you want to know about it. And it's such an important thing. And obviously we could talk about that for quite some time. But we've stuck in the blog here the link to the feedback from viewings, vlog and blog, so you could watch that, you could read through it, listen to the podcast.
How to deal with negative feedback from the viewers, from buyers. Yeah, that makes sense. So the blog's on there, you can read it again, you can listen to the podcast or whatever it is. I know sometimes it's like, you know, it's quite a lengthy detail for an hour-long show or podcast, but for me personally, we're only saying what's completely relevant. It's like, you know, this is completely relevant. If you're struggling at this point in time, wondering why your home isn't selling, you know, that's the facts that you've got to lay out in front of yourself, and you've got to be honest with yourself and ask yourself these questions that we've discussed today.
Yeah,
definitely. Okay, so if you have any questions later on, just stick them in the comments. You can message us direct as usual. You can get in touch with us, or you could just send it on to someone or tag someone that possibly needs this right now. Maybe their home's in the market, it's been on for a while, and they're not sure what's going on. They're quite annoyed or quite upset about the situation, and they'll probably listen to me and realise that they're not listening to their agent. Which is 99 times out of 100, which is the problem. It's only when it gets to crisis point, you know, clarity comes. Out of crisis comes clarity.
Yeah.
For a lot of sellers, they have complete expectations at the very beginning about it's going to go like this, it's going to go like that. My friends, it's like, I'm going to be embarrassed if I don't achieve that. This is where a lot of sellers actually get. They become embarrassed because their pals go, "Is your house still up for sale? I thought it would have sold by now." Yeah, and they feel like, oh, maybe there's something wrong with my house. It becomes a negative connotation from their friends, and they feel very embarrassed about it. And then what do? Hello, is that my estate agent? Why is my house no selling? My friends are saying.
Yeah,
that's effectively what they're saying. And I think it's an honest conversation like we've had here with your estate agent, like we've discussed here, is probably the best way forward. Final thoughts on this, Richard?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that is such an important key thing, is transparency and honesty between agent and seller and things as well. But also just having that the right strategy, the right price point, the right attitude, the right energy from your agent. If you don't have that initially, you're in trouble straight away.
Yeah. Excellent. Thanks very much for coming on, Richard. Appreciate it. If anybody's got any questions later on, please feel free to reach out. Right across the whole of Scotland, we are operating. Until next time, guys, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties, Dundee Properties, Edinburgh Properties, Glasgow Properties, Perth Properties, Inverness Properties, you know, Dumfries and Galloway Properties, TV.
See you later.
Bye for now.